In today's video, I want to cover some updates regarding Death Stranding. Kojima is already discussing the possibility of a sequel to the game, and that makes a lot of sense given that his other property in Metal Gear Solid ended up having so many games and went on to be this overarching narrative across many titles that it would make sense if Death Stranding went a similar route. Call of Duty Modern Warfare's beta just wrapped up on the PlayStation 4, however, a second beta will be held later this week, and it's been confirmed that 64-player Ground War mode is going to be added to the open beta. And by the way, that beta is completely open to everyone with PlayStation Plus, so that's really exciting. And Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch Remastered has just gotten a launch trailer that is due out on September 20th. We'll talk that at the end of this video. But first up, let's talk all about Death Stranding. That game is out November 8th, but if you know Kojima, he typically does games that end up being a part of a larger narrative. At least that was the case with Metal Gear. And when asked about the possibility of Death Stranding becoming a series, Kojima replied, "I'm not sure. When this game comes out, there will be a lot of pros and cons, and these elements could become the essence of the core part, but I think it's better that I keep it going in a sequel." And then he also went on to discuss the idea of a Death Stranding revision. Yeah, probably at least 1.5 and then 2, maybe at least so that it remains and people are aware of the genre. There are a lot of other projects that come up like TV dramas and things like that. A lot of pitches come my way. Why I can't say it's definite because I only have one body and there are many projects that I have to be involved with, and it's really tough for me to physically do too many things at once. Hideo Kojima is an incredibly busy man. It looks like a lot of people are trying to get him to work, and it looks like he wants to work, but at the end of the day, he is just one human being. In the case of Death Stranding, I do see this being a very story-driven game. I mean, they added a very easy mode to the game for a reason, so people could naturally go through the game and just experience the narrative. That makes me think that the narrative is going to be incredibly strong, and the fact that it is Hideo Kojima, that already makes me think that it's going to be a strong narrative-driven game. Whatever the case may be, I do think Death Stranding is at some point going to have a sequel. I imagine that this game is going to do incredibly well from a commercial standpoint, and however that leads into a follow-up title, that could be very exciting. You know, it's not like it took an incredibly long amount of time for Death Stranding to actually come out. Metal Gear Solid 5's development and release was back in 2015. That was only 4 years ago, and now that he already has the fundamentals in place for Death Stranding, I imagine a follow-up title wouldn't take that long to develop, although with Kojima, you know that perfection is really his aim, and in the case of MGS4 to MGS5, that was a whopping 7 years between those games, but you also have to add to the fact that there were games like Peace Walker, Ground Zeroes came out, so it's not necessarily apples to apples, but nonetheless, let's see how the first game turns out. I mean, this is a brand new IP, and I know many of you guys are already expecting it to be a 10 out of 10 right out of the gate, just given the fact it is Hideo Kojima. I'm not that sold on the game, but I am incredibly interested in it. Personally speaking, I didn't check out that 49 minutes of gameplay just because I do want to be kept a little bit in the dark about the title, and Kojima himself even said that he ideally didn't want players to watch that gameplay, so I didn't. I know many of you guys did, and I read the comment section and that a lot of you guys said it didn't really reveal much of anything, but nonetheless, I'm gonna remain in the dark on this one, and I know a lot of you guys are too. Come November 8th, 2019, we'll find out exactly what Death Stranding is all about, and who knows, maybe the narrative itself, maybe we'll see the ending and we'll be like, okay, a sequel is definitely happening, because in the case of a title like this, you know Hideo Kojima isn't gonna come out in an interview saying, oh yeah, a sequel's definitely gonna happen, because he wants to keep some elements of a mystery, and if he were to say a sequel is definitely gonna happen, well, that pretty much means that the story might not be all too conclusive, or it does end on a cliffhanger, or whatever the case may be. He doesn't want the cat out of the bag that easily. Alright, moving on from that, Call of Duty Modern Warfare's first beta did conclude, but now a second beta is coming up later this week, and it was confirmed that a 64-player Ground War mode is going to be added to the open beta. Call of Duty Modern Warfare wrapped up the PlayStation 4 exclusive first leg of its open beta this past weekend, and PC and Xbox One owners will get to join the fun and play together with PlayStation 4 owners through crossplay this coming weekend. The first half of the open beta focused on the traditional 6v6 Call of Duty multiplayer and the new 2v2 gunfight mode, which that in particular is quite good. Activision has also announced that the new 32v32 Ground War mode will also be playable during the second half of the beta. This was a surprise reveal via the following in-game message. Thank you for playing the Call of Duty Modern Warfare beta. We hope you're enjoying everything we've shown you thus far, but we aren't done yet. On Saturday, September 21st, during weekend 2 of the beta, we'll be taking your multiplayer experience to the next level, taking place on a new map, Karst River Quarry. You'll get your hands on 32v32 warfare in a new mode, Ground War. Ground War, of course, was in Call of Duty in the past, but it was never 32v32, so expect this to be chaotic as all hell. Beta featuring crossplay testing will be occurring September 19th to 20th. That is has early access for PC and Xbox One, so you have to pre-order the game on those platforms. It is going to be an open beta on PlayStation 4, so everybody with PlayStation Plus is going to be able to play, and then come September 21st to the 23rd, they are opening up the floodgates to everyone. Everybody is going to be able to play on PC, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4, full crossplay, so that is incredibly exciting. I know for a lot of you guys, Call of Duty is one of those franchises either you're super on board with, or they aren't going to win you back over, given that it's not like this is seeing a fundamental redesign with Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Yes, it is a little bit of a soft reboot. Yes, it is of a name that so many of us look fondly back on with Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 2, whatever the case may be. So I think this title is going to have some inherent interest attached to it. I think they got that last year as well with Black Ops 4 having Battle Royale. I do think this is going to be to a different extent, given that Modern Warfare already has that established cachet with a lot of us, and the fact is, I feel like Battle Royale has kind of dissipated a little bit. Fortnite is still huge, but new Battle Royale games coming out in 2019, I don't think people are going to fawn all over. In the case of Modern Warfare, that does have that nostalgic attachment. It is fresh in a sense. It does have new game modes, and they're rolling out an open beta so everybody can at least check out the game, and free DLC on top of all of that. Activision is doing a lot of things right with Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Do I think that this is going to be the biggest Call of Duty game ever? Not necessarily. I do believe at this point the franchise has peaked a little bit, but I definitely think that there is a large fan base to draw from, and a large fan base to get people to buy Call of Duty Modern Warfare. And now it's not like before. These games generally go on sale relatively quickly. Black Ops 4 went on sale pretty quickly, and I imagine that's going to be the case with Call of Duty Modern Warfare as well. Some people are going to buy it right away for $60, but if you wait a little while, I could see a south of $40 price point happening rather quickly. And lastly, I do want to note that publisher Bandai Namco and developer Level 5 have released a launch trailer for Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch Remastered for PlayStation 4 and PC, and then the game is also coming out on Nintendo Switch. Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch Remastered is specifically for PS4 and PC. Of course, the Nintendo Switch being a much weaker console, it is just getting the vanilla Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch game, which is still pretty nice. You'll get to play that game. And I've been vocal in saying that Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch is one of the best Japanese RPGs probably of the last decade. I even went as far as to say that it might be the best JRPG of last generation. I don't know if that's saying a lot, given that last generation didn't bring with it a lot of fantastic JRPGs like this generation has with games like Persona 5 and whatever the case may be on that. But Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch was an awesome game. You got that Studio Ghibli art style. It's fantastic to look at. The story is really good. The battle style is great. The characters are really good. I can't say enough good things about the game. Unfortunately, just not a lot of people checked it out when it was originally released, but hopefully that will be remedied come the release of Wrath of the White Witch Remastered. And it seemed like Ni no Kuni 2 did rather well from a commercial standpoint, and I think this game is much better than Ni no Kuni 2. Not to say that Ni no Kuni 2 is a bad game, it's just that some elements of that game didn't hit home with me as much as Wrath of the White Witch, but Wrath of the White Witch was an incredibly strong game, and happy to see that come to modern platforms. The only issue is it is being released at a hefty $49.99 price point, so I do see that being a little bit off-putting to some people, but it's a high-quality game, and I do think it's going to be worth the price of admission. And that's going to conclude this video. Again, Hideo Kojima is already discussing the possibility of a Death Stranding sequel, and that makes me think he already has that idea in the back of his head. Who knows what that means for the actual narrative of Death Stranding? Is it going to end on a little bit of a cliffhanger? Is it going to leave open plot threads for the possibility of a sequel? I think come the release of the game, we'll find out for sure if a sequel is going to happen or not. Call of Duty Modern Warfare's 64-player Ground War mode is going to be added to the open beta. That'll be opening up for all PlayStation 4 players later this week, and Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch Remastered has gotten a launch trailer. That is due out on September 20th, so JRPG fans, definitely something to look at there. That's going to conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.